Do you want to see the confessions? I haven't seen the confessions yet. Did you confess? You can confess. I won't look at them today. So if you haven't confessed yet, go confess your sins. You got no sins, Shannon? Don't you like foot jobs?
Confessing your sins? I want to see your guys' sins. Hello?
There's 28 responses.
What's the most heinous thing you've done, chat?
Ready?
Yes!
Once I dated a friend and she broke up with me, so I dated her sister. How'd that go?
Thought that went really well.
Yeah. You read it.
Oh, I won't say sorry to bot out Aoi. I misclicked on her at and it almost got timed and banned. I don't want that, so I don't want to that, so for now I'm going to behave.
To who?
What?
I'm having a...
I am confused.
Next, I lost a full ride academic college scholarship because I stopped giving a shit about grades, depression, and never told my parents and just paid for everything myself. They still talk about how proud they are that I got my college paid for, so the secret will die with me. I have great credit now though, so it's not all bad. That's great.
That's great.
That's really great.
That's awesome. Good for you, girl.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I became buddies with my ex's roommate and constantly went over to their flat just to get back in.
Oh my god.
I didn't do it, but when I was in 2nd grade, I was sitting next to this boy in class and we were watching a movie and he told me to look under the table and I saw his, traumatized me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Damn. Bleach.
When I was 14, I had a weird rash around my mouth and told my mom it was from drinking out of someone else's cup, but I got it because I kissed someone. Never again.
Have you never kissed anyone after that?
Damn.
I hope that rash wasn't reoccurring.
Skipped a rock of my brother's off your brother's head. W. But they deserved it.
Oh. So back in my high school days, we had these annual camping trips with like tents, campfires, and 0 electronic devices. My school was super strict about electronics. No phones, no laptops, no exceptions. If a teacher even caught a glimpse of a phone, it was confiscated and gone for the entire year. And parents couldn't do anything because of how strict the headmaster was. But during these camps, they'd let us bring our phones just in case of emergencies. However, as soon as we arrived, they'd round them all up, put them in a bag, and hide them somewhere in the teacher's cabin. And back then, I enjoyed some light pranks and decided to play one on the teachers. It was too tempting not to. I had this super cheap ancient smartphone that wouldn't do anything at all. The only thing it did well was setting alarms, and I mean really well. This thing could be dead for years, but this little shit would still rise from the grave just to make sure those alarms went off. So for this camp, I decided to have some fun. I set 10 alarms starting 4:30 a.m. each one going off every 5 minutes, knowing that the teachers were going to take our phones. So when we get to camp, and sure enough, the teachers collect all our phones. They dump all of them in this giant bag, making sure we all turned off our phones. And we all did, except, well, mine had a mind of its own. That night, while everyone was fast asleep, my phone decided it was time to party. At exactly 4:30 a.m., it powered up and started blasting the fire alarm. The first alarm, 5 minutes later, another one, and another, and another. You can imagine the chaos in the teacher's cabin. It was like a never-ending snooze button from hell. The best part, they couldn't figure out which phone it was. Picture a bunch of half-asleep teachers rummaging through a bag of 60 phones at 4 in the morning, trying to silence this rogue alarm clock from hell. When they finally found my phone, they couldn't even turn the alarms off because they didn't have my passcode, and forcing it to turn off wouldn't work since it would turn back on by itself. So it just kept going all morning. The next morning, the teachers went in the breakfast hall looking at everyone with murderous intent. They demanded they know whose phone had tortured them all night, and before I could even open my mouth, my lovely classmates who knew all about my alarm habits ratted me out without hesitation. As a reward for my little prank, I spent the rest of the camp picking up trash and cleaning animal stalls, but it was so worth it.
Whoever you are, I love you.
That is so funny.
I love you.
I dipped my brother's toothbrush in the waste disposal to get back at him for being a dick. In elementary school, I used the cubby things, and it was really easy access to keychains and stuff, so I stole people's keychains in secret, as well as my biggest thing, a water bottle with sparkles that the teacher made. I was a thief, and the most heinous thing I did to myself was compet I'm so sorry.
For not talking to chat and being super gay in y'all's contents. I love streamer in all her collabs.
Aww.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
I'm gonna go pee.
Anyways, somebody kicked their dad in the balls over a Nerf gunfight. I can't believe she just left me. She just upped and like went to pee and left me. You know, I did say confess your sins, so not really here to judge. Just the ads that
A few inches later.
welcome back.
Oh, thank you. And pee.
You sure did. I applaud you. That's quite a story. I enjoyed.
In elementary school, I wrote a fake note to a girl who had a crush on a guy saying it was from him. You stood by and watched with your friends as she talked to him and he humiliated her. I regret it to this day. At least you regretted it.
Yeah. Kissed my best friend while drunk. Because my girl I'm drunk.
That's true.
Think I've
She
ever-
gets really handsy when she's drunk. I'm gonna lie.
I don't ever look at you. I like don't know. And Blur exists.
Yeah, blur, because
And then you
yeah.
exist. Blur and then you exist. Because
Yep.
blur.
Just like your brother. Back in high school, I had a friend who was constantly teased me for being too much of a goody two-shoes. He'd always say there was no way I could ever be rude. A couple days later, we found ourselves wandering through Target, casually browsing the aisles. As we passed the baby section, he stopped to admire the tiny clothes, commenting on how cute they were. You ruled out, "Hey, I know you got the girl pregnant, but don't act like you're actually going to take care of the kid when you said you wouldn't." His jaw dropped in shock, and the people looked around us equally stunned. Of course, he hadn't gotten anyone pregnant, but the look on his face was priceless. Also, he would have never let the child, but yeah, he never bothered me after that. That
Good.
is hilarious.
Good.
That
Show
is
'em.
amazing.
When I was 7 years old, my parents took me to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. They had a space flight simulation thing where you get to feel what it's like to take off and see space. They opened the hatch door and there was a big felt display that showed the stars and Earth. In my disappointment, I screamed, "That's fake!" in a room full of people and got all eyes on me.
The Earth is flat, chat. Didn't you know? We faked the moon landing and the Earth is flat. And Google pictures of women showing their on my iPod when my mom took naps. I had no idea private browsing was a thing, so you'd spend hours clearing your search history. I was 6, by the way. Should have known I was a lesbian. I know who that is. Because they told me.
Oh, shit. I
They
found
told
in my cousin's phone by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a wild time. I had to go back and play Snake. I had to erase the memory from I played Snake. This is unlocking a bunch of my blocked out memories from my childhood. Listen, I tell Sokka all the time if she asks me anything about my childhood, it's blank. I can't. Unless it's triggered by something very specific, then I will tell you. And this is one of these moments where I was like, oh, oh my god. I do remember that.
The realization on your face when you looked at me and you said, "And then I played Snake," and how wide your eyes were, and you just slowly moved your head back to the screen. Oh my lord.
I like being called a good dog. That's all I'm gonna say. Slay.
Good for you.
Slay.
Achievement unlocked. Snake and
I was 12! I may be younger. I don't know.
When I was a kid, I was a big fan of Pokemon, still am, and I kept it a secret. One of your friends was also a big fan of Pokemon, but she didn't mind telling everyone. She was made fun of for it. Instead of backing her up or helping her with the bullies, I made fun of her so I would fit in and wouldn't be a victim just like her. She completely lost
Aww.
interest in Pokemon due to the bad experience of being picked on by those assholes, and I lost the only friend that I could bond over my hyperfixation because my scared ass
Aw.
didn't handle being bullied. I put a living fish in my mouth when I was 10. Nice.
That
Good for
reminds
you.
me
Was
of
it a goldfish?
Beans fish. She tried to clean her fish, but she put baking soda in the aquarium,
Oh no.
and then the fish died.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
When I was in the 1st or 2nd grade, I had no sense of filter or thought restriction and grabbed a plank of wood from one of the broke chairs and I looked at one of my classmates with a pause of 3 to 5 business days. I walked up to her and with the plank doinked her on the head and she cried. It was during a PTA meeting too, so the parents stared at one of the moms, walked up to me, crouched to my head and asked, "You didn't do that on purpose now, did you?" Without a soul in my eyes and remorse in my heart, I said, "Yeah, I did," and walked away consequence free. We're still friends.
That's
Oh.
amazing.
You guys are confessing right now and added to 40.
Remember this while we were reading them. My mom caught me reading smut on my Kindle like 10 or so years ago, but didn't realize what I was reading, just that I was suspicious. Thankfully, she lost the Kindle after she hid it to ground me. She never found out. I found out a few years back and smashed it.
You smashed your Kindle? I psychologically tortured my brother by moving a box of Cheez-Its in his room. What? Is he scared of Cheez-Its?
When I was 6, I would buy pay-per-view movies on cable and racked up a $700 bill because your parents never knew it was you. You didn't even know what that shit was till you were 14. $700! Holy crap!
I would have thrown up.
I would have too.
I would have thrown up. I lost my mom's phone one time when we were at the mall because she would give me her phone. So my other mom has the phone because I didn't have my phone and my cousin didn't have a phone. I think someone pickpocketed up my pants because it was one of those pants where we're like still like huge. Like I walked around crying looking for it. I was crying. My mom wasn't even mad at me. She could never really get mad at me for anything, but I felt so bad because it was my mom's phone and I've always had like an attachment to like items and I was like crying nonstop.
You want to hear a funny story?
What?
So my parents, actually specifically my dad was trying to teach me a lesson about stealing. So yes, I was also a klepto. Lots of stories from high school. Anyways, I
keep forgetting that you are.
Yeah,
you were.
I was definitely a klepto. And anyways, but my dad was trying to teach me a lesson on stealing when I was a child. And he took me to work. He owned his own business and he would like drive to people's houses and give them bids on jobs. Right. So like I was in the car, I would go with him to the bids on the jobs. We went to this person's house who was bidding this job and this person had like the most beautiful rocks in their yard. So I took a rock, which he made me go back, knock on the front door and say, "Here, I stole this rock out of your yard." I will never forgive him to this day.
Did you learn?
No, clearly. Because years later, I stole that giant speaker that's in my basement from high school.
I used to write creepypasta reader smut on Wattpad at the age of 11. It was somewhat popular, but I was so scared my classmates, who were also kind of big writers, would find out and tell everyone. I was severely bullied at the time, so I deleted it. But anyways, I love Bloody Painter. 51!
When I was about 10, my cousin, who was 11 at the time, showed me porn on our family computer. My mom found out in history when she asked, "I lied to your teeth that you had no idea about it." And then it must have been your dad. You remember your mom screaming at your father for watching porn on the family computer. To this day, you feel so bad as your mom didn't believe him when she said it wasn't him. Oh my gosh. 07 dad. 07 dad. My older sister showed me where my father stocked his snake socks.
What are snake socks?
Anyways, when I was 8, I had just woken up and she told me she wanted to show me something. So like any little sibling would do, I followed her so innocently. I remember she pointed at it and read it out loud what it said on that. After that, she just went on with her day like nothing happened. I still remember to the day, the color, the location, the brand of the box. Let's just say being a younger sibling taught me a lot of things I didn't want to.
What's a snake sock? Baby!
Nope. Participated in Sonic the Hedgehog roleplay with a group on Facebook at age 9. Also partook in a lot of posting of
what is it?
Who wants to tell Lexi what it's
what is it?
You know, Ika will DM it too.
What is it?
She'll
When I was at work, I discovered one of my mutuals not safe for work account on Twitter, and it fucking hit me so hard I had to call a fool. God damn!
When I was a kid, 10 to 11, I kissed my mom on the lips when she was sleeping to see what it would feel like to kiss a girl on the lips. P.S. I'm a girl. I'm now 18. I just
Are you gay?
Aww.
Are you gay?
It's okay.
It's okay. Be like that. I almost kissed a guy.
Almost kissed a guy?
Yeah.
I kissed many a guys.
Anyways,
I found out I was gay when I was 12, so yes. No.
Thanks for answering me. For senior year, we did multiple pranks, but the worst was when I put the school on sale for Craigslist and the school kept having calls for buyers and changing all the teachers' passcodes. My tech teacher was the only one who knew it was me and he kept it our secret. That's funny.
Amazing. Long story short, when I was a freshman in high school, 14 years old, a certain super senior took interest in me. He would harass me and find me in the halls and hit on you in front of his friends so they'd think you were his girlfriend. He started dating my older sister best friends and a few months in, and she told him I was 14. He flipped out on you and told me never to speak to him again. He knew I was a freshman, but okay. Later, my sister's best friend broke up with him. One day we made eye contact in the cafeteria and he started yelling in your face like he was gonna hit me. You stood up and yelled in his face, said, "Don't be mad at me because your girlfriend broke up with you," and started laughing while his football coach was pushing him away. Every time I see him in town, you make sure to make eye contact with him. W. Okay, so one of my senior pranks, we did a lot of senior pranks, but one of my favorite senior pranks we did, we'd buy chickens.
Like alive
chickens for 25 cents. I didn't buy them. My friend bought them.
Oh.
We bought 99 chickens and we numbered all of them. We painted numbers on all of them them, but we skipped a number and then we did 100, and then we let them loose on the school
And this
grounds,
was-
and so everyone was frantically looking for the one chicken that
That
did
doesn't
not
exist.
That's my
Like-
favorite senior prank. Back in 2022, I dated this girl who then cheated on me with her cousin. What? And we broke up, so she dated her cousin. They then broke up, and her cousin came to me, and we dated for a year. Also, when she was dating her cousin, me and her were in a situation. The whole women love women thing was making this for me. Oh my lord! Not the cousins.
I did see. I
Sweet Home Alabama, I guess, ?
Y'all are wild. Batman couldn't get some of these confessions out of me.
There was this girl that was like, I think we were in 4th grade, and she said she was seeing demons in her bag, her book bag, and then we had to have a
priest,
pastor
like,
come
come
in, yeah, and then like bless the room, and I was like, this shit is wild. I was like, oh, it's 4th grade. I was like,
Where did that come from? Where
like,
did this
I
memory
don't-
get unlocked from?
it's like triggering a bunch of stuff. That's,
Okay, well,
like,
the continue,
it's
please.
like-
I'm really intrigued.
Oh yeah. Anyways, she got a new bag,
Uh-huh.
and then there was no more demons in it. She had to go to counseling.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. I mean, I felt bad for her. I mean, if I was seeing demons in my bag, I would be freaking out too.
Okay, so the first time I ever saw
Ew.
in middle school, and my friend was like, "Hey, I got a picture to show you." So he like whipped out his phone and like showed me a picture of his, and I was like, "What? Why are you showing me a picture of your finger?" Because it was so small. And he was so mad at me, and I like legit. It took me forever to realize what he was showing.
The first time I ever saw it, I got.
You got what?